Today is the 18th of January 2024, and this will be our 34th video on some possible and some questions. Okay, thank you everyone who has subscribed to our channel. Okay, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. If you haven't already, okay, and our videos are helping you, you like them, please can you consider subscribing, sharing, liking and following us. Okay, I will appreciate it a lot. And if the account is not yours, please ask permission from the account holder. In the comment section, you normally see please follow my notes/scripts. Okay, because if, for instance, in saying something it came out wrong, for instance, 4, in case this is 9, okay, and that is 4, okay, so I end up saying 4 in place of 9, and I'm pointing here, then you should go by 9. Okay, so it's good you follow the notes. Beware of scammers, please. Okay, beware of scammers. Okay, if somebody's in your inbox soliciting for funds for orphanage in some country I haven't heard of before, please, if you've not heard it from the video, it's not me. And the truth is, I am not even asking for donations and stuff. Okay, if I want to ask for donation for something, you'll be the first to know. It will be in my video. If it's not in what the video I've uploaded, please don't fall for it. And trust me, I wouldn't do that. Thank you very much on your cooperation on that. Okay, recap. Watch the last video for recap. Okay, I'll start again. We did a probability question, okay, in one of the videos, and then I started seeing a similar question in the past papers, so I started to use the starter to just emphasize our learning. Okay, repetition is a good way of learning. If you want to learn something, you just have to continue going back to that thing. One thing I realize is with probability questions, they can be so straightforward and easy, but at times students find it difficult to answer it. Okay, so immediately I saw similar questions, I thought, even though I've done the first one, I will bring them up so that we would look at it. And anytime I present it in a different way. So maybe one way someone might not understand, but in another way they do understand. So we've looked at this question in terms of counters. We've looked at this question in terms of suites. All of them are past papers. Okay, today it came in terms of microphones. Okay, if your parents have taken you to a concert or something, the microphones they use, okay, so it came in that form. So I thought, and they are the same numbers, okay, so it's a repeated question, same numbers but different things. So this time it wasn't a counter, it wasn't a suite, but it came as a microphone. So I have drawn it out. So they said a bag contains 9 microphones. Okay, so assuming they were trying to set a stage for a concert or for a program, and there are 9 microphones. Now 4 of them are blue. Okay, 4 are blue. So in the box or in the bag, they have 4 blue microphones. The others, we don't know what color. So what I did was, this is my bag. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue microphones, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I drew the others in black, the non-blues. Okay, so this is my microphone in a nutshell. I wasn't given this diagram again, I drew it for explanation reasons. Find the probability that at least 2 of the microphones picked are blue. Okay, so assuming you are going to pick 2 of the microphones at random, like we saw in the case of the countess. If you want a recap, watch the videos we've been doing, the last 3 videos. Okay, so they went in the first time, pick 1, they went again, pick the second one. Okay, but you want to be sure that they are going to pick a blue. Okay, so here again, they can either pick 2 blues. Okay, they can either pick 2 blue microphones. They go in the first time, they pick a blue microphone. The second time, they pick another blue. They said at least one should be blue. Okay, they go in the first time, they pick the blue microphone. The second time, they pick a non-blue. Okay, or they go in the first time, they got a non-blue, and then the second time they got a blue. So these are the 3 cases you can think of. Okay, so the first instance, if they are going to pick 2 blues, okay, now we have 4 blue microphones, so the probability of picking the first blue is 4 out of 9. So immediately they pick 1, there'll be only 8 left. So if they go back again to pick a second blue, there'll be 3 blues left over a total of 8 microphones, which gives us 12 out of 72. Okay, now the total is 9. That's why our denominator is 9. Okay, but they can also say 7, it contains a total of 7, a total of 12, a total of 15. Then that will be your denominator for the first pick. And then if you go back in, it will be reduced by 1. Okay, so now the probability of picking 2 blues is 12 over 72. Okay, so that will be your first case scenario if you are going to pick 2 blue microphones. Now the second instance is you went in the first time and then you picked the blue, that will be 4/9, okay, here. And then you went in again the second time and then you picked the non-blue microphone. So you have 5 non-blue, but you've already picked one, so you are left with 8, so it will be 5/8. So that will be also 20/72. The third instance is you go in the first time. Your first pick is a non-blue microphone. Okay, so non-blue microphone, you have 5 of them out of a total of 9 in the bag. And then you go back again, you pick a blue, which will be 4/8, because there is still 4 blues, but you've already picked one, so it will be 4/8, which again will be 20 for the numerator out of 72. Okay. I'm banking on about this question. I will not be surprised if it shows up in the next few months. Okay. So now you add the 3 instances. So the probability of, because they said at least one should be blue. So the probability of picking 2 blues, the probability of picking the first blue and then the second non-blue, the probability of picking the first non-blue and the second blue. Your 2 picks, you should have 1 blue microphone. So now if you add the numerators, the denominators are all 72. So 12 add 20 add 20 will give you 52, all over 72. If you have it, you get 26/36. And then if you have it again, you get 13 out of 36. I can feel somebody saying, oh, I get it now. Okay. Now, or the probability of picking at least a blue can also imply that you didn't get a blue at all. But we know that probability always adds up to 1. Okay, look at our videos that we did earlier. We've done probability questions. They always add up to 9. So now, if you are going to pick a non-blue, it means the first one is a non-blue microphone and then the second one is a non-blue. So 5/9 to pick, because there are 5 non-blue microphones, to pick a non-blue, and now it is 8 for the denominator, and you'll be left with 4 non-blue. So the second pick of a non-blue will be 4 out of 8. So 20 times 4 will be 20 divided by 8 times 9, which is 72. So 20/72, you take this out of 1. Okay, now it's easy because the only way I can do it quickly is to, in place of 1, I'll write 72 out of 72, making the same denominator, so I can subtract the numerator. You remember when we're doing subtraction of fractions. So now 72 minus 20 is 52 divided by 72. Okay, so which is 26. if you have 52 over 72, you get 26 out of 36. Okay, and then if you have 26 and 36, you get 13 out of 18. Okay, so this question is also a past paper, but here they didn't give it. The numbers are the same, but instead of counters and sweets, we got a microphone. Okay, now today, okay, it's an interesting topic. I'm going to do a topic about that. Okay, so bear with me. It's under trig. Okay, so they said the graph y equals sine x for x lying between 0 to 360. Okay, so they've given us the graph. This is all they gave us. Again, it's a calculator paper. Okay, so they've given us 0 to 1 and then 0 to -1 on the x-axis, and then on the y-axis we have 0, 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360, and that's for the x-axis. And then this graph goes up, has a turning point when x is 90 degrees, okay, comes down, cut the x-axis at 180 degrees, goes into the negative, has a turning point again, has a turning point at -1 on the y-axis, and then on the x-axis at 270, and then goes back to the x-axis, which is 360. Okay, now in the question we haven't done this is trick, but I'm going to do it. Okay, I thought it's a good question. I didn't want to let it go. So yeah, so this is how the graph look, and that was all we're given in the question. So I read through all this to answer the question. Okay, so the graph has an interval 0 degrees, x lies between 0 and 360. Okay, now this graph is called y equals sine x for the intervals between 0 and 360. Okay, now you remember this is what you were given. You on the x-axis they just gave you 90, 180, 270, 360. You wouldn't have to draw it because it would be on your answer sheet, but because I'm presenting it to you and I had to explain, okay, I had to show you, okay, how I reasoned along to find the answer. Now the first question, if sine x equals sine 60 degrees for the interval between 90 degrees of x and 360, so what they are saying to you is x answer is between 90 degrees and 360. So if I come and look at the graph, 90 degrees here is one of the turning points. 360 degrees is at 0 when x is 0 here, there. What is the value of x? Okay, so now the value of x, y on the y equals sine x graph. Okay, so they've said to you, if y, okay, sine x here equals 60 degrees, so I'm going to look for 60 degrees here on the y equals sine x graph. Okay, so now if I look at it on their graph, they've drawn it to scale, but when I repeated it, mine is not to scale but it's close. Okay, I use the same interval that came with the question, okay, by eye judgment. Now if I look at 60 degrees all the way up to the graph, okay, it cuts the y-axis somewhere here. Okay, if that is 1 and that is 0.8, because on the graph we have 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. Okay, 0.9 will be somewhere here, and then we have 1. And then on the y-axis downward, we have 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 0.9 will be somewhere here, and then 1. Down here is all negative. Up there, y is positive. So I'm looking for sine x. Okay, what is the value of x? Sine x equals to sine 60. So what they are saying to you is, look at sine x here. Okay, so when sine the first graph, the y value is here, we have 60, and then it travels 10 round at it have a turning point at 90, and then comes down again and records the same value at this point. So on this line here, sine x, which is 60, will be the same as sine 120. Okay, so what it means is, if I draw a straight line, sine x, sine 60 should be equal to sine 120, because the x here is 60 degrees and the x here is 120. So sine x here will have two values. This point, okay, when x is 120, and that point when x is 60. So now my x on the x-axis will be 60 and 120. So for sine x where x is 60 should be equal to sine x, then sine 120 should be equal to sine 60. So the value of x here is 120. Again, it's a calculator paper, so you can use your calculator to find out if it's true. Okay, even though I have drawn it by eye judgment, because look at it, it's gone a little bit above 0.8. Okay, so you can find out if it's true by using your calculator. So when I use the calculator, because I'm allowed the calculator, so I can do that check before I hand over my paper. Sine 60 degrees is 0.8660, and then sine 120 degrees is the same value. So if you look at the graph, okay, when x is 60 degrees and when x is 120, sine x is going to have the same value. Okay, this is higher math and this is trigonometry, which I would do, but if you've not done it, in a few weeks time I'll do it, okay? But it's a good question. If without knowing trig you can, and you know how to read graphs, you should be able to do this, okay? Now that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question, okay, and then I will show you. This is what we've been given in the question. Just the graph, no labels, okay? That is what you've been given. I had to do all this. I had to draw it and do it. So I was given 90, 180, 240, and 270 and 360. So I had to look on their graph and then divide it into equal intervals of 30. So 30 degrees, 60 degrees by the scale they gave, okay? And then with eye judgment, 90, 120, 150, 180. And I had to sign 60 there. And I had to look for where again it cuts, okay, the curve. So that is what I got. Okay, so I had to do all this by myself. So you can see that I said I've circled sine 60 and then sine 120 because it wasn't part of the question. And then all the degrees I've underlined on the x-axis, I had to do that myself, so that the graph will be easier for me to read. Okay, this will not take you more than 2 minutes. So for you to have clarity, you should be able to do that, and then you can answer the question. Okay, so now x is 120. Okay, for sine 60 should be equal to 120. Now the second part of the question is saying that sine x again equals minus sine 60 for the intervals 180 to 360. So here they are giving you the intervals 180 to 360 for the values of x. So you don't go and start from 0. You start from 180 to 360. So this is the curve you need now. Okay, the first question here, the first part, okay, they've give you interval of 90. X is 90 and 360. 90 and all the way to 360. That is why x is 120. So if you read the question, you can get clues, the answer and clues to help you. So here again, I'm looking for a value of x between 180 and 360. That will be the second downward curve, where sine x equals minus sine 60. Again, it's a calculation paper, so you can use your calculator to verify in the end. Okay, now, so from graph again, from the graph, okay, if I look at sine x, now I'm going to the negative. Okay, sine x here, and they said work out one of the values of x. Okay, we are not asked to give both, but for learning purposes I'll give you both values. So sine x again, okay, which is negative sine 60, will be what we just did earlier. Okay, we can't detach this question from what we did. So we realize that sine x60 is above there. So we'll find out that that is 0.8. Negative sine x will be negative a bit above 0.8 660. Okay, now if you draw this straight line, they've given you intervals of 90 between 180 and 360. So that's 180 and 360. So I'm supposed to be looking at this part of the graph. Okay, so now sine x again, for it to be 60, to get the values I've got, okay, that will be the value. That will be the value. The first point will be here, and then the second point will be here. So it means that sine of 240 degrees, okay, and then sine of 300 degrees will be equal to the negative of sine 60, which we found earlier. There. Okay. So now here, they said just work out one of the values. So on my graph, I can see two values. So if you put 240 degrees, it's right. If you put 300 degrees, it's also right. Now I have my calculator. It's a calculator paper, so I'll not be cheating. So if I do, we realized earlier on that sine 60 equals sine 120, which is 0.8660. Now assuming I drew this to scale, is above 0.8, so I'll get that value and I'll get it here. So I'm using my calculator now. Sine 240 is minus 0.8660, and sine 300 is also minus 0.866. Okay, this is why I keep on banking about your calculator. Please start using your calculator. Okay, we are in January, so February, March, April, you have only 3 months. Okay, so start using your calculator seriously if you are going to do Gcse maths. Stop using your phone to calculator to solve your questions. You need to get used with the function, because these 3 marks, all you need to understand is to learn how to read the graph. Easy question, and then you've got your answer. So you only need to give one of the answers. So you can give x equals 240 or x equals 300, because there you go, at x equals 300 and as x equals 240, sine 60 will be equal to minus sine 240 or minus sine 300. Okay, so this is how you read this graph here. It's an interesting question. I didn't want to leave it. Okay, but I'm going to do these topics with time. I don't even know whether I have time to do it for the people writing their exam this year, but I'll trust that wherever you are getting your learning from, you've done this. But if you haven't done this, these are questions you can straightforward pick the marks. Okay, just by learning how to read these graphs. Okay, so this is what I have to show you today. Again, we've seen a similar probability question, same numbers. This time it wasn't counters, it wasn't suites, but it is microphones. Okay, so please take these questions seriously. If they come out, okay, even if it's not 9 and it's 7, whatever they give you is the same principles. So if you learn it properly, okay, that's why I'm repeating it in the starter. If you learn it properly, immediately it comes. There's no reason why you can't solve it and get your full marks. If this video are helping you, don't keep it to yourself, please. Can you consider subscribing, share, tell your friends, like them, follow us, share it as much platform, help us spread the word. Okay, thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you in the next